In today's video, we're going to be talking about the demand of Pokemon cards. Alright, so like I said, we're going to be talking about the demand of Pokemon cards today. As you all know, everyone constantly wants Pokemon cards. The demand right now is through the roof, and the Pokemon company is trying their best to keep up with the demand for product. There's rumors of reprints and things like that. At the end of the day, I don't believe that most people actually have confirmed information. Some people that are super high up might have that sort of information. I'm going to make this video and talk about what I think is going to happen in the near future for Pokemon cards and how it's going to impact the market. So first up here, we have the set that really started things off. Well, I guess I should say Surging Sparks probably, but this is the set that everyone really went crazy over, was Prismatic Evolutions. You can see we're selling at about 120 in ETB right now, 115 to 120. This set caused absolute chaos, and people right now are thinking that they're never going to be able to get their hands on these ETBs. I don't believe that's the case. I just personally picked up a case of these, put them in the closet, don't care, gonna forget about them. Not a bad price point on them. But people need to realize that Pokemon hasn't even hit that point yet where they have caught up to the demand yet. They are still trying to print to demand, at least in my opinion. And they said they were, but that doesn't mean that they're going to. Pokemon prints sets 10 months in advance, and if you do the math, we're getting closer to the point to where they could catch up to the demand. Do I think they're going to flood the market? Maybe with certain products they could. Do I think that Prismatic Evolutions is just going to be sitting on the shelf for $50 a box? Probably not. I still think people are going to buy it. I think the demand for Prismatic Evolutions is absolutely crazy. Unless, I mean, they print just an absolute ton of Prismatic Evolutions. Sure, we might see some. I made a previous video in the past. I was hopeful that they were going to flood the market with SPCs. I feel like there was a decent amount of SPCs, but not to what we were really looking for where everyone could get them. You know, when I go online and I see one person getting $86,000 worth of SPCs, yeah, there's a little bit of a problem. The fact that that person is brave enough to spend that much money on SPCs shows you that they need to print more, because when it gets to the point where people aren't brave enough to buy a product like that because they know they can't flip it, then that's how you know that we're not in this crazy market where everything is just expensive and hard to find. Another point that people need to think about is we're still seeing Sword and Shield packs right now, and the Scarlet Violet era is about to be over. After Black Bolt White Flare, the Scarlet and Violet era is over. They're cutting it short. And some of you might say, what are you talking about? Like, where are you finding Sword and Shield? Kanto Powers mini tins right here. These are full of Sword and Shield packs. Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest. Just picked these up the other day from GameStop. So they're still Sword and Shield packs. Don't think just because they roll out a Scarlet and Violet era that they're still not going to print Scarlet and Violet era products. You know, we might get the, what is it, Mega Symphonia, Mega Brave set. Is that the new set coming out with the Mega stuff? They're not just going to have that one set line in the shelves. They're still going to print Scarlet and Violet era things. You know, they might roll out a base set, Scarlet Violet base set. You know, eventually they might move away from that. But Prismatic Evolution, Surging Sparks, Destined Rivals, Journey Together, we're still going to see that for a while. Whether we're getting, you know, a super abundant supply of that or not, they're still going to be printing it. And that's what some people need to realize is it's rare, but it's not as rare, I think, as people think it is. Pokemon's printing a lot, but when one person's buying, you know, $100,000 worth of ETBs, it makes it a little bit tough for people to get things. I do think it will become easier to get product. I'm not saying that they're, like I said, I'm not saying that they're going to completely flood the market, which I hope they do. That would make things great. I do think it will eventually, in a little while here, get easier to get product. You know, we could be in this bull market for another year. I don't know. It's really tough to say. I don't feel like anyone really has the answers. I feel like the market's just gonna take its course, and we react to how the market is moving. But what's really crazy to me is you see some stuff here is dropping a tiny bit. You could see Surging Sparks over the last 3 months is down 5.43%. Still expensive, still over retail. You know, Surging Sparks at one point was selling for like $135 a box. No one really wanted it. They're like, oh, that's kind of expensive. And then now all of a sudden it's, you know, $235 for a booster box of Surging Sparks. I do think you'll see more Surging Sparks. Like I said, there's those few sets. I think right now all of the Scarlet and Violet era sets are getting reprinted. I think, you know, maybe give it a few months time, maybe you'll start to see maybe base and that kind of stuff, like maybe Paldea Evolved get rolled out of the question. But I still think, you know, when I say they're not going to reprint it, I'm sure you'll still see it in products, but maybe they're not going to do like a set specific focused reprint. And again, I'm kind of speculating a little bit. Am I an expert? Do I have all the answers? No. But this is just my opinion on what I think they're going to do. I think, like I said, I think the market's going to drop. I think we're going to be able to get a little bit more product. Maybe not to the point to where it was before this boom happened and every box was, you know, $130 or less and you could just pick it up. But I think it might be in better shape than we are right now as far as how hard it is to find product. And what I'm really interested to see is how a lot of these people are going to react. I'm sure you're going to see there will be a point where people start fire selling product because they can't make a profit off of it anymore, which I can't wait for that because me personally, I'm a sealed collector. You know, I collect graded cards, I collect loose cards, I sell a little bit, I do a little bit of everything. So I'll definitely be putting sealed product away. And I miss those days of $100 booster boxes where you could just, you know, buy one or a case and put it in the closet, forget about it. It's fun to focus on multiple lanes in Pokemon, and right now I feel like it's just not as fun anymore. I feel like it's more of a hustle than anything to even try to get product, and you're constantly fighting for that best deal. And if you want to open Prismatic secondary market, you know, you're paying $120 plus an ETB. Every once in a while, you know, not very often, I might pay up to open some stuff. Like today, I paid to open an ETB if Prismatic was feeling like I needed to open something, wanted to have some fun, cracked an ETB. Of course, I didn't get anything, but that's how it is. That's how the dice roll. And yeah, guys, stay hopeful because I think we're going to be able to see more of this product here soon. I don't think it's going to be this constant battle, you know, until these XY set, or not XY, but Mega Brave, Mega Symphonia. I don't think it's going to be like that forever. Maybe it lasts through a little bit of those sets. I don't know. Maybe it lasts for another 2 years. I don't know. We'll see. But if you do check the market, it looks like single prices are dropping. And as you can see here, we got a little bit of negative percentage on the Surging Sparks boxes. Let's check the 6 months. So 6 months looks like we're up 18%. Like I said, I think the boxes at one point were selling for like 135. Yeah, if you could see right here, 118 a box, and then they just exploded. Also, I don't feel like that's a healthy reaction. I feel like typically new boxes aren't $200 right off the rip. But it is what it is, and hopefully we can get some more product here soon. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and join our Discord. We talk about all the stuff like this in there. We have all the latest updates on the news, sets, things like that. If you want to join, the link for the Discord is down in the description below. That's going to be all for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe. Anything helps, and I'll see you on the next one.